Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to bring to order the Board of Education meeting for March 25th, 2024. At this time, would everyone please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance?
Do our best back here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening, Ms. Parker. Can we have a roll call, please?
Chair Cobb,
Present.
Pam Pereza,
Here.
Tommy Old, Mr. Old,
I'm here virtually. I'm here virtually.
Gabby Johnson, Mitchell Manuel,
Here.
and Haley Mayhew is not here.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. At this time, Vice Chair Pereza, will you read our ethics awareness statement?
Welcome to the March 25th, 2024 meeting of the Elizabeth City Pasquotank Board of Education. It is my board that it is your responsibility to avoid all conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest in accordance with Chapter 138A of North Carolina General Statutes. As public servants, it is your duty to continually monitor, evaluate, and manage your personal, financial, and professional affairs in such a way as to ensure the absence of conflicts or potential conflicts. Does any member know of any conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? Okay. Let the record reflect that no conflicts exist.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for an approval of our agenda. I need someone to make a motion, please.
I move to approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
We have a motion from Dr. Williams, a second from Ms. Pereza. Is there any discussion?
Questions tonight?
Good evening, Vice Chair Cobb. Good evening, Board Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, and distinguished board members, and everybody that's in attendance, and Superintendent Dr. Parker. We are very excited about the highlights for this evening. We are reimagining education, redefining excellence at ECMS, and we are becoming game changers at PCHS. And so we will start off with Mrs. Principal Bell. And then it will be immediately followed by Principal Moore.
Good evening, Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, board members, Superintendent Dr. Parker, and the entire ECPPS community. My name is Sharon Bell, and I'm the proud principal at Elizabeth City Middle School, where we are amplifying the learning experiences for our students. Tonight, I have the pleasure of honoring and recognizing a select group of students, staff, parents, and community members for their commitment to the Hive. I will start with our staff. We have the absolute best staff here at the Hive, and we are truly a family, and I'm honored to work with some of the most hardworking and dedicated people. Tonight, I have the pleasure of honoring 4 outstanding teachers that have poured their hearts out for our students for the past 5 years. They are 4 of our global teachers in their last year of residency at ECPPS. The impact they have made on ECMS is not going unnoticed and is invaluable, and they will truly be missed next year. First, I would like to recognize Ms. Peter Gay Ferguson, who teaches 6th grade math. Ms. Ferguson truly loves all her students and wants the absolute best for each of them. She goes above and beyond and creates engaging learning activities. She is very organized and uses data to drive her instruction. She also supports other teachers as math content lead. Ms. Ferguson has also exceeded growth expectations for several consecutive years. She was also named and recognized as North Carolina's Council of Teachers of Mathematics Outstanding Teacher of the Year this school year. Thank you, Ms. Ferguson, for your unwavering commitment to ECMS. Next, I would like to recognize Mr. Stafford Ellis, who teaches 7th grade math. Mr. Ellis is very thorough and has excellent classroom management. He truly cares for his students and wants to see each of them grow academically. He also serves as head soccer coach. One of his colleagues stated she loves his teaching style and wishes she could have been in his classroom when she was in school. Mr. Ellis has also exceeded growth expectations for the past 2 consecutive years. Thank you, Mr. Ellis, for your commitment to ECMS. Next, I'd like to recognize Mr. Tashawn Don Mouchette, who teaches 6th grade science. There is absolutely no other teacher quite like Mr. Mouchette. His enthusiasm and high energy captivates and engages his students throughout the learning process. He is always eager to help his colleagues and supports every school initiative. He stepped in this year and supported all 6th grade to ensure that they had a dedicated science teacher this year. Thank you, Mr. Mouchette, for your commitment to ECMS. And last but certainly not least, I would like to recognize Ms. Kamika Harris. Ms. Harris teaches Math 1 and 8th grade math. She has also taught 6th grade for several years while at ECMS. Her love for teaching and learning math is infectious. Ms. Harris is an expert in using small group instruction to meet the needs of her students. She also uses data consistently to drive her instruction. Ms. Harris also met growth expectations for several years. Thank you, Ms. Harris, for your commitment to ECMS. Next, I would like to recognize 2 of our Yellow Jacket parents. The Yellow Jacket family is blessed to have numerous parents that support our students and staff consistently. But this afternoon, I would like to recognize 2 of them. First is Ms. Brittany Scott and Mrs. Michelle Spence. Ms. Smith has been a tremendous support with our school PBIS events, donations to support classroom activities, and also volunteer her time with school fundraisers events. We are truly blessed to have her. Ms. Spence serves as our Booster Club president, and she has been a consistent face for the past 3 years at every home game, working concessions and ensuring our student athletes have everything they need to compete. This is Ms. Spence's last year working with the Hive, and we will truly miss her. Words can't express how much we have appreciated your commitment to ECMS. Thank you. Right. Next, I recognize some very special students. ECMS is blessed to have the best student body. Our students work hard every day to achieve academic excellence. We have seen tremendous growth in all our students behaviorally, academically, and socially this school year. Tonight, I want to recognize a special group of students. These are our Jacket Students of the Month. These students have consistently shown positive behavior and academic success. They are role models for what it means to be a Yellow Jacket. Our students of the month are 6th grade, Vianney Reyes Vicente. 7th grade, Charlize Riddick, 8th grade, Kaylin Aguilar, and 8th grade, Kalia Jackson. Lastly, I would like to recognize our Jacket community members. ECMS is also blessed to have such a great community support from local churches. Tonight, I would like to recognize some of those. These churches have poured into our students and staff like no other. They provide school supplies, financial support, mentorship, teacher appreciation initiatives, luncheons for our staff, and most importantly, prayers. We are so thankful to have such an awesome village of people that love and support ECMS. First, I would like to recognize Forest Park Church, our youth pastor, Preston Waller. Next, I would like to recognize City Road United Methodist Church with Pastor Sylvia Collins. Next, I would like to recognize Victory Praise and Worship Center with Pastor Daniel Spence. And lastly, I would recognize Pastor Kenny Halsley at Grace and Truth Community Church. This concludes our recognitions from ECMS. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you and celebrate some of our awesome students, staff, parents, and community members.
Good afternoon. I have solicited the help of my partner in crime. Thank you, Sharon Bell. I am principal of Pasquotank County High School. My name is Delicia Moore, and I am going to recognize some of our great students and staff. Okay, so we have many students that participated in our Arts of the Albemarle. Oh, thank you. Thank you, the struggle is real. K-12 art exhibit. Ooh, thank you. All right, so we have Miss Janelle Anderson. Now, again, this is high school, so you know high school students, if they got a word, like, they give me the certificate tomorrow, Miss Moore. I said, I got you. All right, Janelle Anderson. All right, Lily Bailey. Zariana Barrett. Michaela Clemens. Kevin Cobo Sandoval. Maddie Detro. Justice Etheridge. Kaylee Hamilton. Rhea Hedrick. Abigail Henderson. Zariah Henry. Douglas King. Haley Ornelas. Hector Sanchez, Samantha Taylor, Alan Ewell. Okay. All right, next we are celebrating our Battle of the Books. Just in case you did not know, we took first place. We have Dakari Sutton, Amy Cobo Sandoval, Lily Boeing. Audrey Farmer. Alicia Evans. Michael Callan. Temple Parker. Estefani Gonzalez. Karma Brown. Al Holmes. Okay. Next, we want to recognize our FFA president, Mr. Daniel Haynes. Oh, okay. All right. We had a first place winner for DECA at our state competition, Mr. Michael Harrell. And our student board member, Jonathan Manuel. All right, our staff members. We had a staff member this year who really came out of her comfort zone to present at the NC Ties, a beginning teacher. We want to recognize Miss Amy Dotson. Okay. There is a special group of people who make Miss Moore look really good. And oftentimes go unrecognized, and thank you is just not enough. Thank you to Miss Patricia Townsend. Miss Cheryl Boone. Kaylin Shields. And Caitlin Stevenson. This year, we have formed a new student services team where the focus is on every single student. Our focus is our 4 E's, where we talk about employment, enrollment, entrepreneurship, and enlistment. And thank you to this group of people who have put on many events that have gone far and surpassed even what I had imagined. Miss Mary Grace Luton, Sarah Fox, Sarah Hogg, Aaron Jaycox, and Mr. Javon Davis, who is currently presenting in Charlotte, North Carolina at the middle school conference. Our next group of teachers have ventured with Ms. Moore on our Transcend journey on reimagining the high school experience for all of our graduates. And so I truly want to tell them thank you for traveling many hours of working and just your appreciation for the commitment to this work. Miss Wendy Channel. John Lee. Marquita Williams Wiggins. And Tyrelia Sawyer Mercer. Next group of teachers, we want to say thank you for their commitment to the arts. They spend a lot of time outside of their school day, making sure that students have experiences that align with their interests. We have Mr. Nicholas Stanley, who is our band director. Miss Monica Williams. And Sergeant Mitchell Coffey. Our last one is for a shining beginning teacher who has really been a shining star this year. I put the challenge to her to step her game up and show me what she got. And so I am very proud of her, and she is working her part-time job tonight, Miss Kimberly Peed. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor this evening to introduce to you our two candidates for North Carolina's Governor's School. Well, each year our district is usually allotted one slot. We usually get one slot, but last year the Lord blessed us. Oh, I say that right. The Lord blessed us, and we were able to get two, and we were able to do two again this year. And when I got the announcement, I was so excited. And I would like to call up first Miss Ruby Nunez Anaya from Pasquotank County High School. She is one of our recipients who will be traveling to Governor's School this summer. This is a program that she'll be attending this summer, and we are so proud of her. And I also like to call up Miss Marie Moss, who is her AIG facilitator, who guided her right on through this process. We could not do this without Miss Moss and Ruby. Yes, y'all, let's give it up for them, Pasquotank County High School. And we also have from Northeastern High School, Joel Overman, who is a junior at Northeastern High School. We are so proud of him. He will also be joining Ruby this summer. And we would like to also call up Miss Kalina Bartlett, who is his AIG facilitator. Without these two ladies, you all, our students, they advocate on behalf of them at all times. And I truly appreciate all the support that they always give them. They encourage our students continue to go on. And we're going to continue to encourage our students each year to continue with this program. So if you all know anyone that's up-and-coming juniors next year that are interested, send them our way. All right, thank you all.
This is the time in the meeting where everyone starts to get a little restless because everyone starts to look around at each other and go, okay, who's going to go first to leave? If you'll just bear with us for just a few more minutes, we are going to have an opportunity to do some instructional highlights from Elizabeth City Middle School and Pasquotank County High School and our superintendent's report and student board reports. After the student board reports, we will take a very short recess, so those of you that need to go and pick up children or cook dinner can exit out without having to question whether or not you're the only one that's going to get up to leave. So if you'll just bear with us for that, and we are going to turn over now for instructional highlights.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And both of our schools, Pasco County High School
At Elizabeth City Middle School, we are always striving for excellence. At Elizabeth City Middle School, we are always striving for excellence and finding innovative ways to ensure our students succeed. As we prepare for end-of-grade testing, our dedicated teachers are using unique and creative approaches to make learning fun and effective. From interactive digital tools to engage in hands-on projects, we're ensuring our students are well prepared and confident for their assessments. Looking ahead to the fall, we're excited to announce that ECMS will start its International Baccalaureate Middle Years program.
The IB program will take learning beyond textbooks and tests, developing our students into critical thinkers and problem solvers ready for the challenges of the 21st century. With a global-minded curriculum, emphasis on multiple languages, and nurturing environment focused on the whole child, the IB program at ECMS will unlock the potential of every student.
Students at Elizabeth City Middle School are well suited for the International Baccalaureate program, the IB program, because they have the ability to dig deeper into lessons, so deep that they can take it outside of the school into their neighborhoods and into the greater community.
As somebody who has worked and studied abroad, I can't tell you the benefits of an international education. It really levels the playing field if you're trying to work abroad, if you're trying to study abroad, and when you're competing in a global society, knowing that you speak a second language, that you have 21st century skills.
It's more hands-on, it's more interactive, and the students will be able to apply what they're learning instead of just writing what they're learning.
It gives me great excitement to know that our students will have the opportunity to be dual language learners, and it gives them an advantage to be able to communicate with our growing Hispanic population.
Our kids have the opportunity to speak foreign languages, also be able to compete internationally and globally. We can't wait to bring a program here because we know our students will not only exceed, but excel.
Redefining excellence, the IB advantage. At Elizabeth City Middle School, we are shaping the leaders of tomorrow.
This year at Pasco County High School, we focus on the student experience. Student experience from the freshman year until the senior year. With that has come helping students make decisions on courses that they will take to shape their lives. We're excited. We're offering up our CCP program, which is our College Career Promise, and our CTE, because we know those are the two areas where if we get our students centered around, that they will be game changers for the rest of their lives.
I'm part of the Career and College Promise Association at College of the Albemarle. Basically, I really love CCP because it gives me an outlook of what my life would be like in the future. Especially with me working right now, it gives me a sense of how much work that I'll have to juggle while being in college and just what I want to do in life in general. It helped me to gain a sense of adulthood, what things I need to work on and what things I need to just progress in. And this just helped me to lead directly into my four-year college promise program at whatever college that I would like to go to and just transfer all of those credits that I have earned over to my next college that I want to go to.
It's just a good opportunity to get your credits in for college. So I think I'm getting a lot of good information. It's excelling me as a writer, and it's also making me learn more about my history, dig deeper than what I would in high school. So I feel like when I get to college, it's like I'm already gonna have some good information on it.
I never knew what I wanted to do, so it was very stressful. And taking these classes helped me get a better understanding of what things I'm interested in, so what I can major in. Taking CCP is actually really beneficial because it's completely free, so you can take all these classes for no cost, which will benefit you if you decide to go to a four-year college or anything that you do. The other thing I like is the support system at COA. A lot of people are scared that they won't be able to manage or the stress that comes with it, but there's a lot of help that is presented at COA.
All of my counselors and my principal, they have helped me and they have pushed me to take CCP classes, and I'm really glad I did because it allows me to get ahead in my classes. I'm not directly enrolled in the CCP pathway, so it helps me because I get to pick and choose which classes I want to take and how light I want them and how heavy I want them.
CTE classes like marketing and entrepreneurship provide valuable skills and knowledge that complement DECA. DECA is an organization that prepares emerging leaders in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. By combining CTE classes with DECA, students can develop a well-rounded understanding of marketing and entrepreneurship, gaining both theoretical knowledge and practical application.
I have 6 now going in fire tech and 3 in animal science, and I'm working on 1 now in business essentials. These are all CTE classes, and I took these classes for my transcript, and by taking business essential classes, it really encouraged me to become a real estate agent.
CTEs have always been a first pick of an elective for mine, specifically the agriculture CTE program area. In agriculture program, we have an organization called FFA, and it is a student-led organization that focuses on building leadership skills through agriculture education. And I'm currently serving as the chapter president here at Pasquotank County High School. Really what this CTE program area and organization does is it helps build leadership skills, public speaking opportunities, and also job skills focusing in agriculture and other fields as well, such as business. And it really works alongside the other CTE areas as well.
Okay, thank you so much to ECMS and Pasquotank County High School for those instructional highlights. At this time in our agenda, it is time for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to start by again thanking Ms. Moore and her staff for hosting us and ECMS this evening to be able to share these recognitions and host the board meeting. So Ms. Moore, thank you for letting us use your space here. I also want to take a moment to highlight the fact that we're able to use this space, and a part of that is an investment we've made in each of our school libraries to purchase brand new furniture. And so this is one of those libraries, and as you can see around the room, some of this furniture allows us to roll the furniture. All of the tables can be rolled, all the chairs can be rolled, and so Mr. Lee's demonstrating that over there right now with some of the flexible space. And so this one of the features that we have in all of our library spaces now, so just a wonderful way that we can use these spaces. I want to share just a couple of things here. One is we have, as of today, we have 42 instructional days, not total days, but we have 42 days of school until high school students take their end of course exams. And so one of the things that I would say to all of us is that is a lot of time, but it's also not a lot of time. And so to any of our high school students, there in 42 days, you can learn anything you need to learn to pass that test. But let's take advantage of every single day. And so the end of February, we launched across the district what we've called our 60-day plan of purpose. And what we mean by that is in the last remaining days of this school year, we're encouraging every young person and every adult to find purpose in every day and value in the learning moment and take advantage of those roughly 6 to 8 hours we have every day in school. If we do that, I know that at the end of this year, every student can demonstrate their personal best on those exams. So if you're a parent or a community member, I would encourage you to ask your child about what they're doing every day with the 60-day plan to be ready. And if you're a community member, we'd love to have your support through tutoring or encouragement with our young people to make sure they're ready. So I wanted to share that. Friday of this week is a holiday, and so that had previously been a teacher work day. Students were off on Friday, but we made at the last board meeting a technical revision to the calendar. And so now that is not a work day anymore, that's a holiday, so our staff will not be working that day. But officially this Thursday for high schools at 1 or 1:30 we'll kick off the beginning of spring break. So I know everybody will be excited, so please leave the parking lots peacefully and quietly and orderly. But we will then kick off our spring break. Friday will be a holiday, and then April 1st through the 5th is our spring break. And we know that when we get back on April 8th, everybody will just be fired up and ready to go to the end of the year. So I want to share that. I also want to say that Ms. Moore mentioned this, but I'm really excited about some work that's going on at both of our schools that are highlighted, ECMS and then also Pasquotank. But Pasquotank County High School was accepted into a grant that has been funded in part by the Bezos Foundation. Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, funded this grant. And Ms. Moore mentioned and highlighted the team that she's put together on this grant, which included Ms. Chappell and Mr. Lee and Ms. Wiggins and Ms. Mercer. But that team has traveled across the country this year, fully funded through this grant, and we've been able to visit some of the most innovative public schools in the entire country. And I can tell you that there are some really amazing things going on in public education, and we're thinking very deeply about how can we replicate some of these experiences for our students here in Pasquotank County and here at Pasquotank County High School. And so we're working on some plans, and as you saw in the videos, our schools are changing and they're evolving, and we're really excited about some even new things we're going to be able to announce in the months ahead. So I want to give a shout out to that team that has made a big time commitment to travel and to come back here. They meet weekly on a design call with leaders across the country. They're thinking about how they can implement some of the things we've learned. And so there's been a big time commitment to the team, and I just want to thank them for the work they're doing. I also want to give another shout out to ECMS. It was mentioned by Ms. Bell, but ECMS has become the first international baccalaureate school to have an approved application in Eastern North Carolina. And so I am so excited about ECMS. And as you saw in the video, we're beginning down a road of making a commitment and promise to our students that you're going to graduate from our school system ready to do what you want. That might be staying in Pasquotank County. That might be leaving Pasquotank County. That might be staying in Pasquotank County but having the knowledge to bring the whole world here to Elizabeth City. And so this focus we're making on a global education, I think, has some transformative power for our young people, and adding to them the ability to speak a second language. As I've said before, there's not a place our young people won't be able to go if they have those tools. And it takes a lot of hard work from our adults to be able to go down this road and to be able to make sure we fulfill our commitments. And so to our adults and our school leaders that have worked so hard with this international baccalaureate application, Mr. Fudge and the team are going to share more about that here in a little bit. But I'm so excited and so thankful. So Ms. Bell, very excited for you guys. The last thing I'll say is recently, last week, I was able to share it to the county commissioners. I see one of our commissioners here this evening, Mr. Overman, so I want to thank him for his support. He's back there standing by the nonfiction section of the bookcase. But I want to thank our county commissioners. But I had an opportunity to come speak to our commissioners about some of the work we're doing. And Jonathan went with me, and Ruby did as well, and Garrick, who's not here. But our three young people, Jonathan, Ruby, and Garrick, had an opportunity to speak to our commissioners. And I've had several people contact me about how just inspired they were by the things that our three young people shared at the commissioner meeting. I can tell you, the young people in our school system are articulate, they are respectful, they're well-mannered, and they think deeply about their life and what they want to be true for their life. And if you are having a day where you're feeling down and you need some inspiration, pick any one of our 13 schools. Go to the school, ask the principal to just walk around the building and take you in a classroom or lunch. You will leave feeling inspired that the problems we face in the world can be solved. And part of those solutions are going to come from our young people. So I want to give a shout out to Jonathan, Ruby, and Garrick for going with me to the meeting and just sharing some wonderful things that they're working on right now in their lives. So with that, that's the conclusion of my comments, Madam Chair, and I appreciate the time.
Okay, next we'll have Vice Chair Pereza and our student board member reports.
Yes, thank you. We will be hearing from Jonathan Manuel first from Pasquotank County High School.
Good evening, everybody. So what we've done since the last meeting, we've done a lot here at Pasquotank County High School, and I'm going to start with the college field trip visits, and we've been going to Chowan University, North Carolina A&T, East Carolina, Duke, and North Carolina Wesleyan. And these trips are important because they're focusing on getting students ready for college and their careers. And then Ms. Moore mentioned the 4 E's event: entrepreneurship, enrollment, enlistment, and employment. And we had community leaders and partners come and give presentations and showcase their businesses and what they could do for our students. And our Battle of the Books did very well, coming in first. And our PCHS Symphonic Band went to MPA, and we got a grade of 2. And on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the highest, so we're 1 grade short of superior, but that's still excellence. So our band is still really good. And PCHS, we're focusing on all of our students here, not just the ones with the good grades or the standout athletes, because every student needs that focus and that shout out in order to be successful and graduate and have that attention. Thank you.
Gabby Johnson from Northeastern High School.
Hello. I know at Northeastern we are all very excited for spring break coming up. I know our COA students had midterms, I think, about 2 weeks ago, and our juniors took their ACT tests, so I heard those went pretty well for the most part. And then I've also been getting some very positive feedback on what we included into our schedule being flex time. I know a lot of students have really liked having the opportunity to go to like a 25 minutes class and just get some homework done and study, or go play kickball in the gym, which they have the opportunity to do. And then on that, our Student Government Association has also been doing a lot. I know they went to a couple of the elementary schools and talked to some of those students and hung out with them for the day. And they've also been hosting kickball tournaments in the gym, which are very liked, I'm hearing. So that's good. And I think that's all I have. Don't really have very much, but we're doing good.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of our report.
Thank you so much. At this time, although we would love for you to stay if you feel so inclined, we are going to take a brief several-minute recess so that those of you that do need to leave us can do so. And we will start with the business portion of our meeting in just a couple minutes. Thank you all so much for coming.
Here's the first one here.
I got
I didn't get a carrot either. You have to see, Cobb.
I'm about to sneak something out this basket.
You can stick something. Thank you.
I'm trying to steal something out of Pam Park.
Go ahead and steal something out of that basket. Go ahead. I gotta take care of my board members.
We'll let you have some. Sorry.
John,
I know. Doing good.
Bye, Nick. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get an advocate. No, I mean, if she has an appeal here before the board, she can have a representative come with her, even if it's a non-lawyer. No, I mean, that sounds to me like that's part of her standard job function. I mean, conferences between a principal and teacher are part of it. Right. Okay.
are you? Hey, good to see you too. He is tall. He's got the staff.
I think he does pretty well. Yeah.
Very involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, you doing it right?
His older brother.
Good job.
Okay, we are now going to transition into our business portion of our meeting. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to approve our minutes.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve the minutes for the February 26, 2024 meeting and the March 18th, 2024 meeting as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Ms. Parker, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Tommy Old, Tommy, Mr. Old, it's okay. Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Rodney
Yes.
Walton, and Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It is now time for the public comment portion of our meeting. Ms. Parker, do we have anyone signed up?
We do not.
Okay, let the record show there is no one signed up this evening for public comment. Now I need a motion to approve our consent agenda.
Make the motion that we approve the consent agenda for March 25th, 2024.
I'll,
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Parker.
Pam Preza,
Yes.
Tommy Old, Dr. Sheila Williams.
yes.
Rodney Walton, Sharon Morton,
Yes.
and Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Now we will move on to the Financial Business and Technology Committee and Sharon Warden, Chair.
We have one, can you believe it? We have one item on our agenda tonight. And I'd like to call on Ms. Edmiston, our Director of Technology. She is going to present something about school exterior signs that we need to take action on.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Good evening, Chair Cobb, Vice President Pereza, board members, Dr. Parker, and guests. Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools solicited bids for exterior digital signage for all schools throughout the district and the central office. The bid was posted on IPS and the ECPPS website on February 19th, 2024. Prospective bidders were invited for self-guided site visits on Wednesday, February 21st and on Wednesday, February 28th. Addendums were issued to answer questions, clarify the bond requirements, and extend the bid opening dates. Bids were opened March 12th at 3 p.m. in the Finance Office at the Central Office. Qualifying bidders were invited to interviews and demonstrations that were held in person or virtually on March 20th and March 21st. We received a total of 6 qualifying bids from 3 various vendors. The method of award is based on the determination by Elizabeth City Pasquotank Public Schools based on the lowest and best bid, which is most advantageous considering prices offered, quality of product, reputation and performance, suitability, standardization, and compatibility with school operations, as well as delivery dates. An evaluation team, which included principals from all levels, elementary, middle, and high, were invited along with district leadership staff to review the designs provided and offer input on an evaluation of the 3 bids options presented. With price being the most heavily weighted factor, followed by warranty terms, the team ranked the warranty and price for advanced signs and service at the top of the rating scale. Information and presentations by Right Light Signs was highly rated based on meeting all of the requests and the deadlines of the bid. Golden Rule Signs was highly rated for customer response and had great references as well. All vendors stated that they could meet the final deadline of August 1st, 2024. With production dates depending heavily on permits and approvals from both ECPPS and Pasquotank County officials, it is imperative that we move expeditiously on approvals and graphic discussions and designs for these signs. All bidders provided competitive price and warranty repairs for various lengths and multiple options for signage. There was an optional bid which all bidders completed regarding finishing the sign design with brick. After careful evaluation of all options, focusing on price, warranty, and most advantageous offers for the district, the evaluation committee has selected Advanced Signs and Service as the bid most advantageous to the district. Tonight, we would like to request board action to move this project forward so that we can get started. Any questions?
I have one question. I'm looking at the actual bid itself. They will, in their bid, they will install everything. Do we have to install anything, or do they put up all of it?
They put up all of the parts of the sign, and the bid required that they provide electrical connection. We, as a district, have to provide electricity within 5 feet of that sign. So we will work on our side with various vendors in order to meet that.
Have the locations for the signs already been determined on each campus?
Not definitely. We had them do walkthroughs to look at right-of-way and to discuss permitting, and we will work with the city and the county in order to determine what those locations need to be at each location, based on their permitting procedures.
And then the final question, I noticed, of course, that the early college is not on here. Has there been any discussion at all with COA as to the possibility of including some early college information in their digital signage?
I'm going to default to somebody else on that one.
Okay.
I can,
Yes. Go ahead.
if you want to add to that. Okay. We have had some discussion, Madam Chair, with the college about doing that, and we have purchased some signage now. The college has worked with us and is going to provide that to create some more publicity for the early college, which is on the campus of COA. We're going to be unable to place a digital signage on that campus property, but we are working to get some signage out front that indicates the school is there, and the college has worked with us to design that and to purchase that.
I said that was my final question. I do have one more. This is only because I've been on the other side of it and had a campus that had a sign. So have we determined who on our staff will be responsible for the input of the information, and would that be something we would look at to be consistent across the district?
We have had that conversation. We are talking with principals as we go through this project to determine who the best person would be to be primary responsible person for that. At the same time, there's a software platform that is available, so these signs can be updated from any time, any place, any location, so it doesn't have to fall to just one individual. And at the same time, from the district level, we are able to support schools by being able to access that material and that platform anywhere.
And Heather, could you just talk maybe just briefly about like the functionality of what the screens could be? Videos, photos, graphics, some of those things, just to share a little bit about that.
The signs that we have been evaluating are basically digital electronic signs like you would see at any major business in the community. As a matter of fact, most of these vendors have worked in our community. It would allow us not only to post text, but also to have graphics, whether it's JPEGs, which are your regular standard pictures, so that we could put a picture of the student of the month, a picture of the teacher of the month. We can also play any sort of movie file there. Not audio, but that's okay, we don't need that. So we would actually be able to make these live and interactive for the most part.
And one of the things, kind of alluding to part of what your question was, Madam Chair, that we would be able to access the input of the signs at any place, so you could do it on Wi-Fi. So if after a lot of oversight somebody would say, oh, you misspelled a word, well, we could update that anywhere, anytime, whereas when that happened to me when I was a principal, I had to drive back to the school and do it from the computer that was at the school. So that type of functionality will allow us to keep the signs updated. But the great thing is we'll be able to recognize our students of the month. We'll be able to put videos. Portions of the clips of the video we saw tonight could actually play on the sign. So there's a lot of functionality that these signs will be able to provide to us, and we are looking at adding some really nice landscaping after pending the board's approval tonight and the installation of the signs. We want to add some really nice landscaping and some really nice brick enclosures around each of the signs because we realize this is a decade-long investment, and so we want to make sure that these signs themselves will look beautiful, but we want to make sure they have a really nice column brick enclave with some really nice landscaping because they'll be a first impression for our schools as people pull in and drive in. And so this will be a really great opportunity.
Yes, these signs will definitely play a part in our communication plan, but also in any sort of crisis plan, whether it be schools canceled because of weather or maybe early dismissal for any reason. We can display that, and we can do it from the district level, but we can also do that at each school individually.
I had a question. What about the current signage that is at many of the schools? What's going to happen with that?
The actual foundation of those signs will be reused if it's
Okay.
eligible. Once upon inspection, they'll make sure that it's actually able to withstand wind and continue to perform at 100%. If it can, we will reuse that to offset some of the cost.
Okay.
If not, the company has agreed to actually demo those signs and to get rid of the materials elsewhere.
Great. Great.
When you're talking about those signs, are you talking about the current non-functioning digital signs, or are you talking about signage, period? Because I can see where, like, automatically my head goes to Northeastern sign out in the front that's been there since 1970. We definitely don't want that to go anywhere because that's a piece of that school's history. Just like other schools also have those landmark kinds of things. So I just would hope there'd be some consideration before we demoed all the signage at schools as to what the signage is that's been there for a long, long time and has some, significant meaning.
Absolutely, and that was actually part of our discussion, not just with the vendors, but also with the principals as we started looking at this project. So any sign that is not functional will definitely need to be evaluated, and we actually discussed both signs at Northeastern. So all of that is being taken into consideration.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'd just like to say really quickly, Madam Committee Chair, that I want to thank Heather and the bid team for the work that they put into this process. As you can see, this particular bid had a lot of technical components to it, dealing with the permitting. We even had a discussion earlier today about some of the permitting, meaning that the lights can't be but so bright late at night because of drivers going by. So there's a lot of specific nature to this particular bid. So it took a lot of homework on Heather's part and the team's part to be able to get the bid package ready to do that. So a lot of work went into this, but I appreciate the time y'all put into it. And this project combined with our playground project, combined with our furniture project and our library furniture project, have been multi-million-dollar projects we would not have been able to do in this district had it not been for the federal COVID funding from ESSER. So for folks that have wondered how we've utilized some of that money, these are projects that the public will tangibly be able to see as we start to now implement some of these projects. So really exciting time, a great thing, and I appreciate the hard work y'all put into it, Heather.
Thank you.
I'd like to just piggyback on that and say one more thing. This is definitely a step in the right direction to communicate with our community. And that is really a positive thing. So thank you all for the hard work you did.
We're very excited about it. As Dr. Parker said, we have to fit within the zoning codes, and one of those is how bright your sign can be at night, so that you know as well. Our platform will actually adjust based on the time in the season. So we will definitely make sure that we are able to communicate with people in a safe and effective manner.
As she indicated, this is an expedient item that we need to take action on tonight. So I'd like to move to approve FBT-07 school exterior signs as presented. And I need a second.
I second that.
Everybody's eager to second. We're excited about this.
We are too.
Okay. Roll call vote, please, Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
Rodney Walton. Sharon Warden.
Yes.
And Valerie Bogues.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And now we will move on to the Personalized Education Committee. Pam Pereza, chair of that committee.
Yes, thank you. We will have Ms. Nina Griffin, Director of Testing and Accountability, present to us on the 2024 Summer School Retest Program.
Good evening. Good evening. Chairwoman Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Dr. Parker. I come before you this evening to present information in regards to the 2023-24 Summer Retest Program. The North Carolina Department of Public Instruction grants PSUs the opportunity to administer the EOG and EOC tests during summer programs to students who have current test scores for this school year. The Summer Retest Program is a remedial review program designed to provide any student that scored a non-proficient score on the EOG or EOC with a second opportunity to successfully retake this assessment. The higher score will be included in proficiency calculations for the school accountability. The 23-24 school year accountability year ends on July the 8th, 2024. Re-administration scores uploaded to the annual testing program need to be uploaded by this particular date, and they will be included in the calculations. ECPPS staff will provide 2.5 weeks of content-specific instruction prior to students taking this retest. This will be the third grade students for math. The reading will be done at the Reading Summer Reading Camp, which will be held in July. 4th through 8th grade reading and math. 8th grade North Carolina Math 1, 5th and 8th grade Science, Biology, English 2, North Carolina Math 1, North Carolina Math 3, and NC Extend alternate assessments. Eligible students at all of our schools will be able to retest. Next slide. Thank you. There will be an application process that will be partnered with our Human Resources Department for our staffing. Selected teachers and staff will have to make a commitment of being present of all of the days. Principals and school leaders will review the applications and assign staff to teacher positions based on the following criteria: licensure, experience, high-level performance on state assessments, and the ability to work the entire program. Our assistant principals will serve as the summer retest leaders in their building. Elizabeth City Pasco Tank Early College dates will be May the 28th through June 6th, and our ECPPS elementary, middle, and high schools will be June 11th through the 25th. The elementary schools that will be hosting it this year will be Central Elementary School, J.C. Sawyer, Northside Elementary School, P.W. Moore and Pasco Tank Elementary School will be together, Sheep Harney, and Weeksville. Our middle schools will hold their summer programs at their schools, which will be ECMS, River Road Middle School, and H.L. Trigg. And our high schools will hold theirs at their schools as well, which will be Northeastern High School, Pasco Tank, and H.L. Trigg. Transportation, breakfast, and lunch will be offered to any student that participates. And our hours will be Monday through Thursday from 8:30 until 12:30, with no school on June the 19th and the 21st. The North Carolina end of grade and end of course coach books will be used as a part of our retest curriculum. And teacher-created lessons and assessments will also be used as a supplement. ECPPS will also implement SEL, or social and emotional learning, daily lessons for the students that attend the summer retest program. Our parents will be notified of the summer retest program and its purpose, and students who are not proficient on their EOGs or EOCs will be invited to participate in this extended learning opportunity. However, any student that does not attend any other program at all for any remediation will not be allowed to re-administer the test, and that is based on NCDPI's rules and regulations. Our goal is for all ECPPS students to be proficient on their EOGs and EOCs on the first attempt, which can happen. The summer retest program will provide many students with the boost or the direct instruction that can promote an increase in overall proficiency. Last summer, with the implementation of our summer retest program, we had a significant number of schools increase their EOG and EOC proficiency from a range from anywhere from 5 to 13 points. That increase helped our district to move out of the low performing status. Let's give ourselves a round of applause here. So this program is extremely important for our students and an opportunity for ECPPS to continue on our trend upward and continue to grow academically. So we are asking this evening that you all make an action to approve that we go into our summer retest program for this summer. In that time, if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The coach books that are they used throughout the year or just during the
Yes, ma'am.
summer?
Yes, ma'am. We do have some schools that have already purchased them for their remediation at their own schools, and we've seen such success with them and such growth over the year that we are definitely going to be using those this summer as well. So we're going to be purchasing those as well.
Okay, what about the interventions? That looks like something they could use.
Yes,
throughout
ma'am.
the
Yes,
year.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Any other questions?
Any more questions for Ms. Griffin? Okay, if not, I'd like to make a motion to approve PE-01 2024 Summer School Retest Program as presented.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Ms. Parker, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
Sharon Warden,
Yes.
Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin, for all you do.
Okay, at this time, we'll ask Sammy Fudge, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, to come to present to us on the International Baccalaureate presentation.
I do have one question. I'm sorry. During the summer, and I see this program is Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 12:30. Can students volunteer to assist during that time in the schools to assist?
The answer of that would be yes. If we had, let's say, some high school students that were interested in maybe helping tutor with middle school students, we would be open to them helping with that.
Okay, I'm looking at college students.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
There would be a need for that, no doubt. And so if there are students at the university, we would love to have them.
So we'll have summer classes. So.
Yes.
Okay,
Love
great.
to have that.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you.
tearing things up. I'm good. I'd like to start by saying good evening. Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, board members, and Dr. Parker and guests. We're here tonight to talk about our International Baccalaureate program. And with that being said, there's some people I really want to recognize before we get started. We started this journey back in the fall of 2022. And at that time, it was just a dream, a concept, and an idea. And the people that are standing here, and there's some people that are not here. If you're in the audience, please stand if you was part of this informal IB committee. I call them an IB committee, but there was no obligation. But the thing I want to share is the people standing here is their dedication and hard work, because throughout this whole piece of investigating IB, making trips, doing inspirational visits, they have been there the entire time. From writing applications, doing rewrites if needed, they have been part of that whole process. So I want to say, without them, this process would not, have occurred. So to our board members, and our superintendent definitely knows that piece, and to our guests in the audience, these people deserve truly a round of applause. So at this time, we're going to start by having, as Dr. Parker shared, we have the honor of being the first school in the Northeast to be recognized with a IB candidacy school, and that's a big deal. And we really relish that opportunity. Our real work starts now. Just having that recognition is great, but the work of being an IB school starts now. And we're very pleased to have Ms. Sharon Bell as the principal at ECMS, and them taking on being that vanguard for our district, and we know they're going to do an outstanding job. So in tonight's presentation, we're just going to give you an overview of what IB is, some of the finer points, and then we're going to open up the door for questions that you might have. So at this time, I'll turn over to Ms. Bell.
Good afternoon again. Just bear with us for a little bit as we take you on this journey of redefining our excellence through IB, our IB Advantage. So just a brief little introduction. The International Baccalaureate Program is a global leader in international education. It develops inquiry, knowledgeable, confident, and caring young people, empowers students to take ownership of their learning, helps students develop future-ready skills, and provides a solid, consistent framework and flexibility to tailor their education. Next, Mr. Fudge is going to come with our mission.
So as part of our mission statement for IB, I want us to think back to the time when we were in school, whether it was middle school or junior high school for some of us. Our biggest competition may have been just the person sitting next to us, or maybe it could have been the city just down the road from us, or within our state. But that piece have changed for our kids over the last 20 years, and with technology, our kids are now so connected. Dr. Parker, if you guys know Dr. Parker, he always has his cell phone. Dr. Parker, could you pull your cell phone out for us for a moment? Okay. It's on the table. So our kids have the capability of typing in one simple word, and they're connected globally. And who could imagine this 30 years ago that this would happen? But with technology, our kids are there. So it's incumbent upon us that we give our kids experiences and skill set that are going to allow them to compete in a global society. And not only a global society, but a global economy, because it's no longer they're competing against kids in Camden or Edenton or Virginia or maybe Montana, but at one stroke of that phone, they're competing against kids in Kenya, Belgium, Australia, just all over the world. So we have to ensure that our kids have the skill set to do that. IB is one of those pathways that will assist and allow our kids to have those experiences. One of the things that you're going to hear a lot over the next 2 years is this word agency. And agency simply means that our kids have voice in their learning, choice, which means they have a decision as far as what that assignment might look like and how they expand upon it, and the whole thing of action. Action means they can define something, see something, then take steps to make that happen. And that's going to be a traditional change for some of our schools, but this is going to create a pathway for our kids that's going to really open up inquiry-based learning for our kids. Another key component of IB is community service. What we will see at grades 5, 8, and 12 is a community service project. Kids will take action. They will identify a need within their community or either globally. In years 5, it could be year 6, year 7, and year 8, they're going to write a plan, they're going to implement that plan, they're going to go about making sure that plan takes place. And then they're going to evaluate it. And that's the whole premise of IB. We focus on the whole child, making sure the child is really tied into their community, and then they're taking actions and steps to better their community. Okay? Our next slide is we're looking at the IB program itself. IB currently is offered program to roughly 2 million students across the globe. The middle year program is ages 11 through 16, or grades 6, 7, 8, in some cases 9 and 10. The 9th and 10th grade years often referred to as pre-IB. For our purpose, our IB program would be grades 6 and 7, and grades 9 and 10 will be our pre-IB. Our whole focus is getting our kids to our diploma program, which is in grades 11 and 12, which is a pretty rigorous inquiry-based content focus for our students. As of March 2023, there was over 780 different programs worldwide across IB in more than 5,600 schools. I think I can read that, Dexter. Okay. But flip back, Dexter. But if you look at the breakdown, the number of schools within the United States, career and technology, which they added in 2012, there's roughly 159 schools. If you look at the far right column, only 7 of those schools is located here in the state of North Carolina. If you look at the primary year program, which is often referred to as the PYP, it came about in 1997, and then there are roughly 636 programs, and of that, 21 PYP programs exist here in the state of North Carolina. If you look at the middle year program, it came about in 1980, and there are roughly 729 schools across the nation, but only 29 schools exist here in the state of North Carolina. And if you look at just below that in parentheses, you see 9 and 10, you see 16. That means that those schools expand their middle year program to grades 9 and 10. But then if you look at the diploma program, the diploma program came about in 1968 in Geneva, Switzerland. Embassy workers came together because they wanted a rigorous program that was a consistent platform for their students because they moved on a consistent basis. So they came up with the whole notion of IB. IB initially was designated towards private schools, but it caught on and has expanded to public schools. So here in the United States, we have 941 IB schools. Roughly 33 of those are located as far as high school programs here in the United States. So if you had to make a guess where most of those schools in North Carolina was located, what would you say? Yeah, the corridor between Raleigh and Charlotte. And most of our visits were between Raleigh and Charlotte, but also on the other end, Oscar Smith, which is located in Chesapeake. Also, when we went to Prince George's County, the multiple offerings of IB programs they had there.
I think Mr. Fudge took all my talking points. So I'll just start off with describing the IB Learner Profile. So the IB Learner Profile is a set of attributes that the IB aims to develop in all students. These attributes help students learn to respect themselves, others, and the world around them as well. IB aims for students to be knowledgeable. So with the IB curriculum, students become more knowledgeable about ideas that have local and global influence. IB aims for students to become thinkers. The curriculum really teaches them how to think and how to process, and also how to take responsible action. IB aims for students to become good communicators, so they learn how to develop their own perspective, and also while listening to the perspective of others as well.
IB aims for students to be principled, open-minded, and caring. This is my most favorite attribute, caring, because IB really teaches students to have empathy for others and things that are going on around them. IB aims for students to be risk takers, to be balanced, and to be reflective. So through reflection, students start to understand their strengths and their weaknesses, and they start to understand how their own experiences really impact them and how they are going to impact their learning and their world. At the core of IB teaching are 6 approaches. So this is with the PYP program, the MYP, and the diploma program are all founded on these 6 approaches to teaching. So the IB approaches to teaching are based on inquiry. Students are really able to figure out what they're curious about and build upon those curiosities, and they kind of investigate their way and build their own learning. The second approach, students are focused on conceptual learning. So teaching through IB, everything is really interdisciplinary, and students are taught via concepts, which are already predetermined. Based on global and local context, so students are using real-life examples to learn about their world and also outside of their world. Teamwork and collaboration, these students are learning to work with their peers and also, which is very valuable, learn how to work with their teachers as well. Teaching is differentiated, and teaching is also informed by assessment. So assessment with IB is really focused on feedback. Feedback is a very big value. So just to iterate what Mr. Fudge said, learning through IB really follows a cycle of inquiry, and then moving on to action, and then reflective practices.
Hello. IB has 4 approaches to learning, and these are skills that are present across all spans of IB, and that includes thinking skills, research skills, social skills, and self-management skills. All of these skills include things such as critical thinking, compare and contrasting, listening skills, organization of time and task. These are all things that you learn in school and that also help you in the world outside of school. The middle years program is a whole school program, and that includes the reading, math, science, and social studies, but it also includes a Spanish 1 course and a design course, which is found in the CTE curriculum. Our 8th graders will participate in a community service project, and all students will have a minimum of 50 hours of subject time, and are also exposed to interdisciplinary units throughout their time in the middle year program.
So a few things that excite me about the middle years program is that for students, it builds confidence in managing and their learning. They learn by doing, connecting the classroom to the larger world. So, I mean, when I was in school, or a few years ago, we used to Skype with students in other countries. So they'll have that time they're not going to be Skyping, but they're going to be doing some connecting with those students from other countries and learn about their cultures. They outperform non-IB students in critical thinking skills. They develop an understanding of global challenges and a commitment to act as responsible citizens. So it goes back to the empathy for others. They thrive in a school culture where they are motivated to excel, and they have a greater success for future academic programs in high-ranking universities. So this will unlock the door for them to go to schools like University of Washington or Howard University or the Dukes or University of Carolina or those North Carolina schools. So, yeah, Ohio State, okay. The IB diploma program is for the 11th and 12th graders. The pre-IB is for the 9th and 10th graders. So if you're in the 9th and 10th grade, you're going to do the pre-IB, and then you have to make that decision by the end of 10th grade whether you're going to do the diploma program. So they have to be up for the challenge. with the diploma program core elements are creativity, activity, service project, the extended essay, the theory of knowledge. Each student takes a minimum of 3 or a max of 4 subjects at a higher level, and the rest are standard level classes. So standard level classes equal 150 teaching hours, and a high level are 240 teaching hours.
So not to reiterate what a lot of people have already said, but some benefits of IB are that students see and understand content that is interrelated. They understand and appreciate global cultures, traditions, and their impact on a modern global society. With an international qualification, they are able to compete on a global level. They are often and oftentimes trilingual. They become more competent writers because there is a writing component required with each final exam. They know their learning profile, and they can use this to adapt to their content more quickly, and they're able to come up to you and say, my learning profile says I learn this way. How can I do an assignment that fits my profile? They also have a 22% higher acceptance rate and are 38% more likely to complete a bachelor's or a master's degree. And then I was asked to tell you my experience with IB. I attended Southern Cross University in Lismore, Australia, and I taught at Cheongdam Ejubesta in Yeosu, South Korea. And when I first started at Southern Cross, there were many international students, and they were all bi and trilingual. Often they were from Southeast Asia and Europe, and they were able to see things from many perspectives. They were able to shift from their home country's perspective to Australia's perspective to the United States' perspective within an instant. They were all aware of global events. They saw how a history of events is more likely to repeat itself, and they were able to connect things that they learned in a global affairs class to a biochemistry class, no problem. It took a little while to adapt to that. I'm a proud graduate of ECPPS, and I did well, but I was not bilingual when I left. I was a good writer, but I wasn't a writer on the same level as some of these kids are in their second and third language. In South Korea, I taught kindergarten and first grade at an international school, and we were an academy the rest of the day. And my 7-year-olds were proficient in English, and they would be able to come up to you and code switch in a Korean perspective, an English perspective. By the time I saw them in an academy in the afternoon, they were applying to attend colleges and high schools and middle schools in America, in the United Kingdom, sometimes in Italy, in France, and it just makes for a better, more readily competitive group of students. So.
One of the things that have stood out for us as we did our visits was not just talking to the principals or teachers, but talking to the kids, the students that made up these schools. And to a T, they would say, this is hard, but we're learning a lot. And they could articulate what they call their approaches to learning, the ATLs. They also could tell you what their learning profile was because they were so invested. And as part of that piece, that perspective, it got us to see, wow, these kids are just like our kids. This is something our kids can do each and every day. And part of our team that also supported and went on this and had a strong impact as far as what we were doing and asking those questions and recording with Mr. Dexter Jackson Hurd. So Mr. Dexter Jackson Hurd? Yes.
So one of the biggest things that I received from just attending our visits was the experience, opportunity, and then the fact of community, which are some things that I feel that are definitely needed here, and especially the opportunity piece. I think our students deserve opportunities. As a parent, I want my child to have every opportunity that's possible. IB may not be for every student, but it's at least an opportunity for every student. That's why I like the fact that we are starting with the middle years program, because of the fact that all of the students, it's kind of like one of those things where I say you got to get it, you get an opportunity to try it before you actually, so with this program, I think it's going to give us an opportunity to give all of our students in our middle schools the opportunity to try it. And then hopefully gives them that advantage. That's why we say redefining excellence, because it is an advantage. We're creating an advantage in ECPPS, because the bottom line is, like Mr. Fudge stated earlier, Chesapeake, great school district. Raleigh, Charlotte, Met, great school districts. But the thing about it is, by having those designations, it puts them above us a little bit. They always put us down here and they put them up here. Well, this is now going to put us up here with them. And so our students, our 4.0 students and 3.0 students, whatever, they're going to have that, it's going to kind of even the playing field. And so I'm just very excited that we're looking to bring this opportunity to our district, because the thing about it is nobody, and I mean nobody around here will have that opportunity. So that means you can only get this opportunity in ECPPS.
Our IB program is part of our strategic plan. It ties into our strategic goals of making sure that we're providing different pathways for our kids, but more so, we're providing parents opportunity. Parents have choice as far as direction in which their kids can go as far as their learning. It's also providing rigor. And as Dexter just shared, it may not be for all of our students, but we're giving our kids options. And that's what we have to do, provide our students with options. Dexter, can you go back to the last slide? One of the things that we want to share as we talk about the rollout of IB, this year, 2024, we're starting with ECMS. In preparation for 2025, we're looking at River Road. And right now, we're having initial conversations with their leadership team. We're going to meet with their parent team. We're going to create a timeline, and then we're going to start the application process for River Road. And it's our goal to have them identified as a candidacy school by this summer. Then from there, we will look at our high school. We'll get that piece started, and we'll look at and identify our high school for the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. As we look at River Road, one of the things that we're doing now is we're focusing in on Global Learners, which is also a program that's going to help River Road transition to IB, middle year program. The Global Learning mirrors those skills, really mirror IB, and that's going to really prepare the staff to transition to the middle year program in 2025.
This concludes our brief introduction to IB. We'll now open up the floor for any questions that you may have from us.
Let me just start by saying thank you. I think that not many people are more excited about this than me. This has been just amazing. I think when Dr. Parker came, that was one of the first conversations we had. I was like, not just expand AP, but what about IB? And just for this to be here and being planned this quickly and so soon is just amazing. So thank you, guys.
I'm probably second behind Pam and excited about this program as well. And a couple of things I took note of was the identifying the students, but it was at the last slide of the presentation. So as we start to decide which students are going to be going into that program, it's an option, which is also good.
So what we got, Mr. Walton, for our middle year program, some districts do a program within a program. We're not going to do that. We're going to start with grades 6 and 7 next year, but our 8th graders at River Road will be exposed to IB. We're starting at grade 6 and 7 because at grade 8, there's an end-of-the-year assessment that the kids have to do. Our 8th graders, it wouldn't be fair for them to have to do that assessment. Correct. So our middle school will be whole school programs. The diploma program would be a program of choice.
Okay, good. And I got just two other things really
Yes, sir.
quick. And this is probably for Dr. Parker. So I'm thinking of when the early college was able to get the MacBooks for functionality purposes. Is this something that the IB students, once the program is getting off the ground, something that would be not necessarily incentive, but attractive to what the functionality for their programs? Is that something that we would consider as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's not something specific we've looked at, but what I would say is the Mac as a platform and an ecosystem, both with the iPad, the iPhone, and the MacBook, has far more functionality overall than our current Chromebooks do. And we're interested in trying to find programs across the district where that device, the Mac, could serve as a functionality. We're piloting, as you mentioned, with the early college, and we've got some work to continue to do to build up our infrastructure, both with our network, but also our training for teachers, so that the Mac, we can use every tool it has. But you could see a world where IB could be a place for it, absolutely. And one thing I would just emphasize to the board is, based on the timeline that Sammy shared, with ECMS launching now, River Road in a year, in 2 years, every student in the district going into middle school will go into the middle year IB program. And so what we're doing to help prepare them is we're launching at the elementary school the dual language immersion pathway. And for students that may not be in kindergarten and first grade that can enter into dual language, we're launching the Global Leaders Program, which is a global focus at each grade level. You could think of it as sort of a version of IB for elementary school. And so by the time these students get to middle school in 2 years, they will have had global content. They will all go into middle year IB. That way, when they get to high school, they can make a decision. Do I want to continue down the diploma pathway, or do I want to move over and exclusively focus on dual enrollment or AP, or focus exclusively on another area? High school is about choice. So when our middle schoolers get to high school, they can make a choice. And if they want to continue, they'll have everything they need. If they want to move another program area, they can do that too. But every student will go to, and I think that's a unique feature. I do not know of a district, certainly in the state, but I have not come across a district where every student in the district moves into the middle year IB program. And so that'll be a unique feature for us. I think that'll help prepare our kids to make choices.
Yeah. And Dr. Parker and board members, one of the things that we're already thinking about is 8th graders in 24, 25, making sure that we have things in place as they become 9th and 10th graders for the diploma program. And also on the back end, we know that in 4 years, we're going to have kids that are going to be coming from elementary school speaking proficient Spanish. So what will that offer look like for them at our middle school? So we're thinking about the possibility of looking at additional language for those kids, or another language offering, but that's down the road. But we're thinking along those lines.
And Mr. Fudge, as you were speaking down the road, I'm a down the road guy. So my thing is, it can never be reiterated enough when I think about the graduation of these students. And Dr. Parker, if you could just reiterate again the seal that gets stamped on their diploma and the recognition they'll get during graduation.
Yeah, that's going to be a tremendous benefit for our young people. And Sammy's pointed this out. Our work is K-12 to prepare them. So to get that international seal, they have to sit through a rigorous exam process. They have to complete projects of practice. And so our work is going to be, and by launching this program in phases, we're able to build capacity at the middle year program, but also we've got to work from now until 2 years from now when these current students in ECMS move into high school. We've got to work from now until then to build teacher capacity at the high school level so that we are accessing the depth of the IB curriculum and preparing kids, because to get them ready to be successful on that exam is going to be a tremendous commitment on their part, but our part too. But to get that international seal, you will have proven that you can walk the walk. And so we will have a K-12 pathway to get those kids ready for that. And so, yes, but that is a huge opportunity for our young people to be able to have that recognition.
And I speak as a parent. I had 2 daughters that went through IB program at Hampton High School, and just the doors that it opened for them as far as options in college. So our kids will have those same opportunities.
Bear with me.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a few.
Sure.
So, when Dr. Parker presented on dual language, and the folks from Participate came on dual language, they showed us some data that showed some comparisons between test scores and performance of dual language students versus non-dual language students. Do we have you looked at any
Sure,
data
yes.
versus?
All the research shows that IB students outperform the non-IB students, whether it's on assessments, state assessment, national assessments, or also just in standard grading. Yeah.
Okay. If you look at students and you look at a bell curve, the majority of the students fall in the middle. And I noticed one of these things is about the differentiation of education. What does the instruction look like for the ends of the spectrum? How is this instruction going to be addressed with AIG students, with exceptional students?
Sure. What we're going to find is, just from personal experience, we will have these AIG students, or our AIG students will probably be some of our strongest IB students. So kids will be exposed to all of these skills that IB offers. So in the middle school, all of our kids will get the same training because the teachers have to go through the training themselves.
Okay,
So,
that was my next question.
yeah.
What does the training look like?
So the training itself looks like this. So what will happen in June, Ms. Bell and her team will go to a head of school workshop kicking off IB in Pittsburgh, and we're taking a team there. And then we're currently going to be interviewing for our IB coordinator, which is a critical piece of the IB program. And once that person is hired, we're going to look to find leading the learning, because we got to get that person to that program so they get trained, because they're going to play a key role in the professional development and working with teachers. And then from there, we have the course of a year to go content specific and sending teachers to different training. So everyone's going, the school will get whole training this summer.
Mhm.
We have an IB person, consultant that's been assigned to us. So we met with him last week. So he will provide whole school training. And after that, we will send content specific teachers to their training throughout the course of the next year.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, I have one quick thing there to that. So to your question about students with different learner profiles, any student will have the option to move into the diploma pathway once they get to high school, because they all will have gone through it in middle school. But I do want to emphasize to parents who may be listening, this is a specialized program. And so what we want our students to do is to make a decision of, it is a extremely intense, rigorous program even compared to AP. And so we believe every kid can be successful, but the commitment to success in this program is far more intense than commitment would be in our other programs. And so we want to emphasize that to get that international seal, it will just not happen on its own. That's one of the hallmarks of the program is if you get to the seal, you've proven to everybody that you ran the race. And so our commitment is to get our kids ready for that, if that's something they want to do with the reading and language and writing skills. But for our young people that choose to go on, they're making an extremely intense commitment in their junior and senior years particularly, both through college-level writing, reading, and performance. And that will be a cohort of kids. And so I just want to emphasize that's why this is a program of choice. There will be some students that go through middle year IB, excel at middle year IB, maybe even go into pre-IB in 9th and 10th grade, and then they say, you know what, I've gained a lot from this, I learned a lot, I'm going to move over here to AP, or I'm going to do dual enrollment. That's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because you can't lose anything even if you just had 1 year of pre-IB. You still win. But there will be a group of kids that say, I've done pre-IB, and now I'm going to continue on to diploma. But to do that, I'm going to have to make massive time commitments and massive commitment to rigorous work to get there. And so this is about choice, and it's not about a requirement. But I just want to emphasize the unique nature of this program, that it is extremely specialized and rigorous program that every kid will not choose to do, and if that's what they choose, then that's okay too.
And like what Dr. Parker said, I just shared with, with my kids. It's like they're working on a college degree while they're in high school, and that's what it equals out to. Yeah. And I, just from personal experience, having gone on visits with my kids to colleges, and the one that really sticks out for me, and I've shared this often, is we were at GW, George Washington University, on a visit, and we were sitting down getting the orientation, and kids start asking questions about, so how do you guys accept AP classes or view AP classes? And the person that was leading our group was giving responses back and forth. And then my daughter, my kids are not shy. They stood up, my daughter stood up and said, so how do you guys view IB kids? And the lady's mouth dropped open and said, we love IB kids. So she left there that day with like a $55,000 yearly scholarship because she was an IB student. So schools, our kids will be attractive to schools. Schools want IB kids.
Okay. My final question is specifically for Ms. Bell. So when I'm looking at this about cultivating student voice and creative choice and instruction and ownership, what does that look like to you? What does that look like in a traditional school setting? Are there going to be changes to the schedule? Are you going to do what? I'm picking your brain. What does it look like?
Yes, and that I think that was the neatest part of all of this for me was that voice, choice, and then action, because we are basically cultivating students to learn who they are and for them to find their voice and act on what that is that they want to. So we're building those leaders before they even get to high school. So when they're walking into those high school doors, they already know what pathway they want to go in because they've learned that and we've cultivated those leaders at the middle school. So as far as with our classes, we are going to change some things because we're adding classes because we're going to be offering foreign languages, which is a neat thing too. That's a great segue for high school because if students are leaving middle school already fluent, they're having the opportunity to leave with both Spanish credits before they even get to high school. That opens up even more doors for them when they walk into high school. So our schedule will look a little different because we will be adding that and also the design course where students are able to begin that problem solving, really looking at how they fit into the world around them. So, and figuring out what problems they want to solve. So if it's something locally, as simple as how can we solve this issue of these high light bills in Elizabeth City, that could be something that they could target. But it could be something global about, Flint water issue. It could be anything that the students want to tackle and figure out and be those game changers for our society.
Do we have any more questions for Mr. Fudge and the team?
The IB diploma, once a child selects that path, will there be any kind of cap on how many any child can select that and go on through? Okay. All right.
One piece that we have, one little caveat, if they're going to go into the diploma program, they must make a decision by the first semester of their 11th grade year.
Right.
After that, and this is what.
Right. Okay.
And I do want to thank Mr. Fudge and the crew here. Sammy mentioned this, but our team has traveled extensively. They've visited schools. We've gone to high-performing places. We've thought really deeply about this. There's been a lot of work that this committee has done to get us to where we are. And as Sammy said, the work now begins to prepare our staffs to implement this and to get our kids ready. So a lot of work. Sammy, thank you for you and the team for everything that you all have done to bring us along this way. So.
Okay, so this evening, we are going to take action on whether or not to approve this program. So we need a motion at this time.
You're saying you want it as presented, program as presented? Okay. Make a motion to implement the IB International Baccalaureate Program as presented this evening.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Perez, a second from Mr. Walton. Any further discussion this evening? Ms. Parker, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Rodney Walton, Sharon Warden,
Yes.
and Valerie Boggs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Parker. Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Now we will move on to the Policy Committee. Rodney Walton, Chair.
Well, it wouldn't be a meeting if we didn't have an appearance by Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Rachel Haynes. So I'd like to ask Rachel Haynes to come up for the policy code updates.
Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Perez, Committee Chair, Mr. Walton, board members, good evening. Tonight, we're going to ask the board approve the revisions to the policies that were presented for first read at the February regular meeting. These are attached on your agenda. It's PC 01 through PC 21. We did do a summary of those changes at the last meeting, but haven't had time to review them. Are there any questions about any of these policies? Mr. Walton, if there are no questions, then we would like to ask the board to approve these changes.
Okay, with no questions being made, I'd like to make a motion that we approve PC 01 through PC 21.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Parker.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Tommy Old,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Rodney
Yes.
Walton, Sharon Warden,
Yes.
and Valerie Boggs.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Haynes.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to our Excellent Educators Committee with Dr. Sheila Williams as the chair.
Okay, so at this time, we will have advanced teaching roles presentation by, again, Ms. Rachel Haynes, Ms. Kelly Cowell, and Mrs. Nina Griffin.
Chair Cobb, Vice Chair Pereza, and Committee Chair Dr. Williams, good evening. Tonight, we are going to present a strategy that supports one of our priorities, developing the talent of our educators. This is a project that Kelly Cowell, our Director of Talent Education, Talent Development, and Nina Griffin, our Director of Test and Accountability, have taken the lead on, and I want to thank them for all of their work on this. They've done a lot of work on this. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the purpose of advanced teaching roles. So NCDPI launched advanced teaching roles in 2016, and they did that to enable outstanding teachers across North Carolina to extend their reach to more students without leaving the classroom. They also did that to recognize teacher leaders with higher compensation, provide developing teachers with embedded ongoing coaching and professional development support, allow principals to distribute leadership across the school building, and most importantly, to make sure that our students are successful in the classroom. So we would like to take 2 minutes to show you a short clip, 2 minutes, on advanced teaching roles.
Families all over North Carolina understand the value of their child's teacher. And North Carolina's teachers are doing extraordinary things every day to support our kids. But, like other states, we're struggling to recruit new teachers and retain the great ones we have. Our state has made recent progress on teacher pay, and yet we know pay is just one piece of the puzzle. See, the way the teaching profession is structured hasn't kept up with other highly skilled professions. Picture this. 2 recent college grads walk into their first day on the job. One is a teacher, and the other is going into the business world. Let's look at the differences. From day one, the beginning teacher is expected to take on the same workload, if not a harder one, as the veteran teacher next door. And with every other person in the school building also reporting to the principal, it's hard to get the mentorship and support she needs. On the other hand, the business professional has a workload that ramps up much more slowly. She works on tasks with limited scope and complexity under the close supervision of an experienced team. And her manager is much more accessible, with fewer direct reports. And what about career opportunities? 5 or 10 years into her career, the business professional can demonstrate her effectiveness and earn promotions, enabling her to earn more for doing more. But the teacher? To advance her career through a promotion, she has to leave the classroom altogether. The status quo system isn't cutting it for teachers or for the students who rely on them. It's time to treat all educators like the highly skilled professionals they are. Families all
So we wanted to talk a little bit about the grant opportunities that we're able to be a part of to help with this initiative. So there are 2 opportunities, both through TIP. The first one is Opportunity Culture Consortium, which is an initiative of public impact, and it involves Wake County, Edgecombe, Rockingham, and ECPPS. This is being funded through DPI, actually, with Wake County being the fiscal sponsor, and this covers the design process. The next grant is also through TIP, is coming from the Department of Education. It's the School Leader Incentive Grant, which we call TSL, and the name of this project is Reimagining Teaching Talent. So the participants in this are Ashboro, Edgecombe, ECPPS, Lexington, Mount Airy, Scotland, Vance, and Warren, and this is funding from Department of Ed through TIP, a percentage of some salaries and recruitment and retention efforts.
Okay. So if we talk about our cohorts, we're going to have 4 cohorts over 4 years. Our first cohort of schools will be Northeastern High School, Pasquotank County High School, River Road Middle School, and Weeksville Elementary School. The second cohort is going to be P.W. Moore Elementary School, Sheep Harney Elementary School, and J.C. Sawyer. The third cohort will be Elizabeth City Middle School and Northside Elementary School. And then our last cohort, cohort 4, will be H.L. Trigg Community School and Elizabeth City Pasquotank Early College. So let's talk about the role of a master classroom leader. So first, they're going to teach a portion of the school day, and then another portion of their school day would be helping small teams of teachers. So they're going to help with lesson planning, data analysis, instructional strategies, providing feedback to their team, and then co-teaching or modeling for those teachers. So our timeline. So we would like to post our MCL position on our job board. Then we're going to make sure that we notify our employees through email. And we're also going to provide an informational session of interested applicants. We will conduct interviews, district interviews, and then our MCLs will have training in June, this June. Any questions?
Kelly, Nina, and Rachel, thank y'all for preparing that. And Rachel, Kelly, and Nina have taken the lead on these 2 advanced teaching role opportunities. What I would just point out really quickly is these opportunities are going to really change how we use our best folks significantly. And as the video pointed out, historically, our best people, we've taken them out of the classroom and moved them into other roles. And this will allow us to keep our best people connected to kids, but expand their reach. And that's what an advanced teaching role is. It is taking the best folks and expanding their reach, both while teaching other kids, but also working with teams. And what's a unique feature about this MCL role, that's one advanced teaching role position, but there are others. And in fact, some of our paraprofessionals and our teacher assistants will be able to participate in these roles as well. And so there'll be incentivized compensation for these roles. And the MCL, which is sort of the hallmark role, the Master Classroom Leader, our educators that go into this role will be able to make $8,000 to $12,000 in addition to their teaching salary. And so one of the unique things about this is these MCLs will be responsible for teaching kids and moving kids, but they'll also be directly responsible for the growth of the students, of the teachers they work with. And that's a unique feature we don't have in the district right now, particularly our instructional coaches, but student EVOS growth will be connected to the MCL. And so there's real skin in the game of moving these teams, and so I think that's going to be a hallmark piece of these positions. But what's going to be great about this is, in addition to the stipend that we provide our teachers here, the board provides the PRC 079, I believe, which is an additional supplement that our teachers receive from the state. Now, on top of all that, these MCLs will make upwards of $12,000 more. These MCLs will make far more than any educator does in the teaching profession in the neighboring counties around us. And so this is going to help us with recruitment, but also take our best people and not make them go out of the classroom, but allow them to stay. The last thing I'll add is some of our educators may want to advance their career in other positions through administration and other areas. They want to do that. We have opportunities for that too. And tonight we had Ms. Richardson and Ms. Bartlett who were here on the IB presentation. Both of those fine educators are in our Principal Fellows Master in School Administration grant. They're getting ready to start their internship this coming school year on their way to becoming assistant principal or principal. So if you want to advance your career and leave the classroom, we got opportunities for that too. This program now gives us an opportunity for you to advance your career without having to leave the classroom. And I think this will be a game-changing moment for our educators. So thank y'all for preparing all this, Kelly, and what a great presentation.
What are the qualifications for an MCL?
So you cannot be a beginning teacher. That's first.
Okay.
We're also looking at growth data, EVOS data. So we're looking at 5 years plus.
Right. All right.
You cannot be a beginning teacher, though.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions from anyone?
I'm going to tell you, this is extremely exciting.
I know.
And I was involved in a webinar with some state officials who were talking about, it was through the North Carolina School Board Association. And they were talking about what kinds of things that we have to do in order to maintain and attract people to our profession. And the number one thing that they kept saying was we have to start making our people feel like they are truly professionals. And that made me feel so good because they are.
Yes.
They truly are. And those who aren't, they get out. They don't stay. And if they do stay, someone needs to tell them to get out. I am so excited about this. And our legislature, they need to be excited about it too. And I will tell you that this is one of the main things on the agenda for the North Carolina School Boards Association to be pushing for the short session of our legislature. So thank you for this tremendous work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you.
Okay, and we are going to take action on this as well this evening.
We are.
To implement this program as presented, so I need a motion for that.
Was that the motion, what you just said? Oh, okay, second.
Well, you got to make the motion, not me.
Oh, that's why I asked you,
Yeah,
where you were
I'm
saying
just-
it, I said, is
no,
that the
no,
motion?
no.
Okay, so I would like to move on the advanced teaching roles presentation to implement this in the schools.
And I will second it.
All right, we have a motion from Dr. Williams, a second from Ms. Warden. Any further discussion? Ms. Parker, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Sheila Williams,
Yes.
Rodney Walton,
Yes.
Sharon Warden,
Yes.
and Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cowell, Ms. Griffin, for your great work. At this time, Dr. Williams, will you take us to closed?
Okay, I motion for the board to go into closed session as allowed by NC General Statute 143 through 31811A6 for the purpose of considering one or more personnel matters that are confidential under NC General Statute 115C through 320 as allowed by NC General Statute 143 31811A3 to consult with the board attorney regarding matters protected by the attorney-client privilege and to preserve that privilege.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion, and we have a second.
I'll second.
We had we seconded.
Sorry.
Mr. Walton seconded, yes.
I'm just so
And,
excited.
and any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please, Ms. Parker.
Pam Pereza,
Yes.
Tommy O,
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Williams.
Yes.
Rodney Walton.
Yes.
Sharon Warden,
Yes.
and Valerie Bogues.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. This ends open session.